may be a bit hard. So what we have in front of us is a collection of engine parts from both the engines we ran this year in Bonneville. This engine here is engine number 1, which popped at 193, and it ended up blowing a lovely hole in the cylinder head. This engine here met its smoky demise because of a cylinder head gasket, which was quite spectacular. Still managed 163 miles an hour run, but it seems to have scored the cylinder face. It's kind of scored the head face as well. So out of the two engines, we need to make a good one. Fortunately, the damaged head on number 1 and the damaged head on number 2 are opposite. So the good thing is we can just replace the heads without too much extra work. So here's the plan. We are going to use the deep sump engine, number 2 engine, as the base. This engine was fully rebuilt before we went to Bonneville. The new bottom end bearings, small end, big ends, control bearings, the whole lot, seals, everything got redone on this motor. We just didn't have time to finish it properly and test it. That's a better base. It's also got a deeper sump. It's a newer engine. This engine, number 1 engine, got refreshed last year. It does have a couple of trick bits on it. It's got a lightning flywheel and a couple of other little special parts. We're going to use the parts out of this engine internally, fit them to this. Well, in fact, most of them are already in this engine. And then we're going to take the good cylinder and head from this engine and replace the front cylinder onto the engine number 2. And that will give us a very solid 3 mile only engine, which we can then sell on to somebody else's project. So let's get started. And before we get stuck into building new stuff, there's a couple of things we need to take off the old cylinder head. And now this is the head from the number 2 engine. We need to rob the throttle body rubbers off. I do actually think I've got 2 sets of these somewhere, but these are in good condition. And they don't have broken studs on the end of them. Ask me how I know. I'm going to pull this off, and then I want to pull the rocker box off as well. Now the rocker cover on these are designed, they're actually 999 rockers. There we go. Oh, and another thing is we're going to go redo all the sealant on everything because we used nasty red Hylamar in a very big rush when we were at Bonneville, and it looks awful. So we're going to fix that as well when we do this. Couldn't tell you how many times, countless amounts of times, that this rocker box has come off in the last 6 months. Right. Well, it's oily. It would be because it's been sitting upside down. I actually think that was pretty nasty Castrol GTX that was in this thing because it was all we could get at the time when we did the engine change. Yeah, it's some funky oil that really wasn't designed for this motor, but it was going to be a 1 run and done, so you can only run with what you have. As I'm looking at this as well, one of the other things we'll do when this is the head we're binning. We're going to take the cams out of this engine from the good cylinder and put it into the cylinder we use here, because the cam timing on this engine could be slightly different to the cam timing on this. I measured this with gauges before we left, just to make sure that the inlets and the exhaust were matching on the 2 cylinders in this. This engine was rebuilt in Germany, and I bought it as such by Ducati experts, and it was them that did the light flywheel and all sorts of stuff as well. They would have done the cam timing on this. If we're using one of the cylinder heads off this one, I want to make sure it's matched so all the cam timing is exactly the same. It'll save me doing it because it's a pain in the arse to do and set up. So, but that's a job for later. So it's not really told us much. We're going to rob this rocker box and we'll leave this cylinder head as it is. Next one. Okay, this is the good cylinder from engine number 1. So this cylinder will be going onto our final engine number 3, pick a number. So I'm just looking to see the condition of this. One thing I might change is this plate, purely because it just looks a bit rough, and we've got spares. It's just the paint starting to flake away, probably because it's been in the salt for 2 seasons. So we can change that. It's not a big deal. The other side plate looks fine, it just needs a clean, as do the cams. And then we'll take off this rocker box, because this is the 998 one, which doesn't have the 6mm bolt for the coil sticks. I'm amassing a collection of these bolts. So, obviously we had this off and changed the rocker box in Bonneville when we changed the engines. Now, I know this engine inside is good. I've had it apart a couple of times. The only thing that happened with this motor was blowing a hole in the other cylinder. But this one's good. I'm just going to give it a once over, just to double check there's nothing amiss. Valve stems look lovely. They really do look lovely. I mean, this is a fairly fresh engine anyway, so everything is as you would expect it to be inside here. And if you recall back, I can't remember which video it was lots of videos ago, that all this was all cleaned up as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean the oil off it, clean all the gasket out of it, and we'll put the 999 rocker box back on it with proper grey sealant as opposed to that nasty red stuff. It's what we had in Bonneville. We'll change the side panel for a nicer one, and we'll button up and give it a clean, and then we'll go into the next head. When you guys make me rich and famous on YouTube, I'm going to have a minion to do all this. But until then, I'm doing it myself. As I'm giving this a clean, I'm now noticing that what I realised, or what I thought was rubber remnants when I first took the engine apart, yeah, it's oil. It's just misted oil which has been coming out of that side pocket of the cylinder. It's a bit messy. Now we're just putting a little bit of sealant around the corners here. Just belts and braces to make sure we don't have a leak. I mean, we did this when it was our engine because we didn't want to be pulling it apart to reseal a simple gasket. So if this is now going to be sold to somebody else, same rules apply. So make sure it's going to seal first time. Now we're also using the 999 covers and not the 998 covers. This engine is officially a 998. It says so on the chassis number. So you would think we could just sell it as a 998 engine, but I want to bench test this. Actually, I'm going to run it up just literally on the bench. So to do that, the only coils I have is stick coils. So for that reason alone, we will use this rocker covers. And when I sell the engine, I can sell it with both covers. Right, throw the gasket on. Throw the gasket on the right way. So much faster that way. And it will seal a lot better. Idiot. Gasket is now sealed nicely. It goes on. It's the last time I'm doing this. Now, another point of note is to make sure all the rubber washers or in. They can easily fall out, and then you suddenly find you've got oil on the side of the bike, and you don't know why. It'll be one of these. Ask me how I know. You know what? I'm going to clean these up on the wire wheel just to give them a bit of a buff. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. I'll buff them up a little bit. So, a bit of a before and after. That's what they looked like before. Pretty cruddy, probably covered in salt and nastiness for the last 22, 23 years. A bit of polish does it wonders. Possibly my OCD from having two rather shiny aluminium bodied Ducatis through this workshop. And ever since then, dirty bolts have just annoyed me. It really doesn't take too much effort to bring them back to where they need to be again, and also you know that there's no salt and crap residue sitting on them, so it's going to survive into the future. Look at the difference just off of it there. Massive improvement. It really is a massive improvement. And we know there's no salt remnants that's going to be sitting on these either, so keeps them in good condition. It wasn't really that much effort to do it. It looks pretty. Right, the final job on this head is to change this back plate. It just doesn't look good. It's some of the, I don't know if it's a paint finish or an anodized finish that's on it. It's been worn through in a couple of places and salt's starting to eat into it. It doesn't affect the metal, but it looks bloody ugly. So the head that died on this one has got the same plate, and it looks in far better condition. So we'll just swap them over. There's a little indent here in the back, just where we can get a screwdriver in the corner and lift it up. Of course I need to do this so I can see it. No, you can see it. There we go. Then clean up this face a bit. The O-rings are in good condition. The water one isn't the best, but we'll give that a bit of a clean up. Probably because it's had a bunch of oil and water and all sorts of nastiness going through the water galleries. Everything else is good. Okay, all the rings are in place. This is the good one. Right, and I found some better looking bolts to put it all back with. They're not 100% perfect, but they're far better than the ones that came out. One good thing about doing a lot of Ducati projects is you end up with a lot of old Ducati bolts. Lots of old Ducati bolts. Another part done. Make sure they're all tight. Bear in mind this is all an O-ring seal, so perfect. Next job. So the next and final job is cleaning up the head gasket area. So this this number one engine, we put, it's copper, let me get it. High temperature copper gasket cement. Commonly used for high compression turbo supercharged applications. So we used it on the gasket here. And it obviously worked because you can still see remnants of it. Didn't use it on that engine because we didn't have it at the time. I don't think there's a correlation, I really don't, because we did all last year without using this. So anyway, will we use it for this one? Maybe. But you can still see the remnants of it. on the ceiling faces, which I guess is a good thing. Just have to get this nice and clean, so we'll set a new gasket, and at the same time we'll check the condition of it all. It was us that rebuilt this engine the last time, so it wasn't too long ago that we did this. And there is a video of us doing this before, so you'd be well go and watch that instead of watching me do it again. One more little thing that we forgot, and that's to put the inlet back on. And again, there is an O-ring on here, but belts and braces. I would hate to have one of these unseal itself. 4 pretty bolts. And that should be it for this head. Okay, now it's time to get into the guts of the head that we blew the hole through. Now we're going to steal the cams out of this, but I am quite interested to see what other damage happened in this head. And see, well, assuming we can salvage the cams out of it, I really hope we can. Real bum if we didn't. Let's have a look inside. Everything looks pretty good. I'm just going to whip these cams right out. Not with a 10mm though. Get the proper tool. Proper tool being me and lazy. Thanks to Milwaukee, we've got a solution to that. There we go. Just enough to break the seals. Done. And there we have it. One set of cams. Well, these I'll blow out the oil galleries just to make sure they're all clear. But the importance here is the vernier being dialed in to the cams, because they're going to be exactly the same. That is the reason. It's the connection between that and that is the reason we're changing these. Just to make our life easier. Now, cam lobes seem to be in good condition. There's no other debris where we've had blowback in the cylinders. Yeah, because where it's blown a hole through, it's actually blown a hole both sides of the valve. You can see it. I don't even know if I'm going to get a camera in there. If I take the valve out, we'd be able to see it. Let's take the valve out. It's worth taking the valve out just for a look, right? Because it's not every day you see a hole like that through a cylinder head. Let's take the valve out. I'll move the camera down so we can all see this together. Because, you know, I don't know what I'm doing, and you don't know what I'm doing, so we may as well pull it apart together and learn at the same time. So, let's take the pressure off the spring. Ooh, without trying to hurt ourselves. There we go. Yes, I know that wasn't the right tool for the job. I know that. I don't care. Oh, that valve's sticky. Oh, that's nasty. That's terrible. Okay. Wow. Oh, that's impressive. You're not getting to see this yet. I'm going to take the other valve out so you get the full effect. Bear with me. Oh. I'm surprised there's even a guide for the valve to go into. Holy shit. Now that is impressive. That is just spectacular. It really is. So impressive. Well, there's your problem. Here we go again, another head. This is the top head. So it's going to be the same process before. We'll take off the inlet, clean it all up. That plate looks fine, so we'll leave it as is. But we will change the cams on this. The cams we took out before. We'll just clean it up and check everything okay. One thing I have noticed, we will not need this. So this was the port we used for, what do we use this for? Blow-off valve. We don't have a blow-off valve in this engine, so we're just going to put a bolt in there. A very small, short bolt, which I have one of these. Not one of them, I tell a lie. One of these, tiny little one. This is where we find out it's an M5. No, it is an M6. Oh, but forgot, there's a little copper washer on these. That's what creates the seal. Can't forget that. Right, as I was saying, inlet track comes off. We'll clean that up. May as well just clean it right now and put it back on again. And then we'll attack the cams. Oh, that was tight. It's like somebody put it on a rush in the middle of a salt desert with a bunch of red Hylamar. Huh. Wonder who that could have been. Come on. Educator. Maybe a bit hard. We cut that out, may leave it in. Just for comedic value. Shit. That, ladies and gents, is it fitted. Cams next. Next job is to remove the cams. The key being remembering what is an inlet and an exhaust. You can't really mix them up when they're side by side. So that is an inlet cam, and that is an exhaust cam. They do actually have them stamped on there as well, but it's really difficult to see the writing, and then you've got to decipher the part number against a sheet that I actually have for all Tesla Stretta cams. But yeah, it's an exhaust. You can tell. So same way we did it before. We'll just take the cam caps off very gently, a lot more gentle than we did last time. Right. Gently, gently. Oh, this one's going to fight us like it did last time. Let's do this one at a time. Now, this is not final, let's try it on for size. Double check that it is actually the exhaust cam, yes it is. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to get some special sauce, 2 seconds. Special sauce. This is a oil additive which aids or lowers the friction coefficient of stuff. You can actually add it to your engine oil, but it's great for building engines because it just, you put it on the bearing surfaces and it leaves a lovely thick film of oil. It's basically like engine lube, well, the lubricant you get for building engines. It's very similar. Tried and tested. Okay, that is one in. Same with the other. Just give it a good clean. Everything looks fresh. Looks lovely, in fact. Try it on for size. There we go. Beautiful. Bit of special sauce. Oh, thing of beauty. Now, just put a bit more in here, a bit more in here. Lovely. Right, cam caps. Check the condition of these as well. Make sure there's no scoring on them. Surprisingly light. And considering how much rotational forces are on here, the tolerances must be quite exceptional. Yeah, they're all good. And we have our special sauce. Because we'll put some more on here. Never have too much, right? Okay. Yeah, everything looks good in there, which is nice. And at least now we know for a fact that these cams are dialed into that engine, which is where they came from. So there's no way we can have some weird and wonderful cam timing issues on this engine, which does happen. People have been known to screw around with the vernier pulleys, not understanding what they do, and then suddenly you have a very bad running engine. And if you recall back to a certain video a long time ago that we did, valves kissing piston tops because of the same problem. And that's why I'm quite keen to make sure that these are matching the same engine. I've had this issue before. I'd love to tell you the name of this, but I don't know. I've had it for so long, I really can't remember. And I've got the rubber caps in them. These do actually just sit in as opposed to sitting in a keyway or anything, they just sit flush. It's quite surprising actually. I guess it's just the tension of the cap holding them in. Okay. Right. So we RTFM'd, and the torque settings are twofold. They go from 10 Newton meters as the first stage, and then the second stage is 22, which is not a lot really, but there is a lot of oil tolerance in there, so I guess if it was any more, it would start bending stuff, which wouldn't be good. Now, that torque wrench only goes up to 20. This one, however, does more. 22. I may have to hug this. There we go. Done. How was that? They feel a bit tight, but probably all that really thick oil in there is causing that. So, another job done. Last piece of the puzzle is back with our good friend Durco. And we'll just a little smear on there, and we'll get the cam cover on, and this head is done. In fact, both heads are done. Then we can start looking at cylinders, which is not going to be fun, because we know that means pulling pistons out, and that means that little snap ring which holds the gudgeon pin on has got to come off, and that is always a painful experience, always. Now, and that, ladies and gents, is the second cylinder head done. So we now have 2 cylinders to fit onto the lower part of engine number 2. Before we get cracking into cylinders and pistons, etc., etc., it's probably a good time to stop the video. We've covered a lot. It's going to have a long runtime again. But if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please like and subscribe to the channel. If there's questions you have, suggestions, comments, etc., hit us up in the comments. It's always good to get a bit of interaction, and we'll catch you the next time when we finish this engine.